Hello, welcome back to the Board Games 4K YouTube channel. This is a channel where we give you live playthroughs, board game reviews, unboxings, generally talk crap about tabletop gaming in general. And today we're going to be looking at a card, sort of card game really. We're going to be looking at Abyss, and this is by Bruno Gafala and some other French geezer. I can't remember, maybe this French geezer here. But so in this video we're going to be giving you a brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like, and then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Abyss is worth playing today and in the future. So if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in the box down below, and we'll see you after this. Board Games 4K. So, Abyss, how'd you play this game? So, it's a relatively simple game on paper, but it's one of them ones which gives you very few options, but it sort of expands itself. It's like expanding foam. So, essentially, there's only 3 things that you are going to do on your turn, and the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to have the option to plot at court. And what this means is that you'll be able to give up one of the pearls, which is the currency of the game, and you'll be able to reveal a new Lord card on one of the available spaces, if there is any available spaces. Right, that's the first thing that you're going to do. That's optional. So the second thing that you will be able to do in this game is you'll be able to take one action. You have to do this. You have to choose one of these following 3 actions that you get to choose from. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to be able to explore the depths, and what you do, you've got a deck of ally cards, and what you do, you reveal one on the top row of the board, and then you'll ask the player to the left of you if they want to buy it off you for 1 pearl, and if they say yes, they take it into their hand. If they say no, then it goes to the next player and then they can bid. If they all say no, then you get the chance to take it into your hand for free. But if they say yes, the next card that's revealed will cost 2 pearls, and the third one will cost 3 pearls. That's in a 4-player game. So what you do, you keep revealing these cards until you get to the end of the track, or you've taken one into your hand, or all other players have done it. And if you get to the end of the track, you take 1 pearl and you have to take that card, right? And also dotted in amongst these ally cards are monsters, and you'll see that you've got another little sort of sideboard with a threat track, and you can either choose to defeat the monster, attack the monster and defeat it, which just happens, right? And you'll take the reward where the threat marker is, or you will say you don't want to do it, and then you'll move the threat marker down. So you're sort of increasing the potential rewards for future monster fights if you don't fight it. But if you do fight it, your turn's over and you have to take what's there. Yeah, so that's the explore the depths action. So the second option you've got on your turn, you can request support from the council, and what you'll be doing, below the explore the depths track, you've got the spaces for all 4 colours of the council, and this is where you're going to be discarding cards when you buy the lords, which we'll talk about in a sec. So what you do, you'll just pick one of those face down decks, and they'll be full of one sort of colour, varying usually low numbers, and then you'll take that into your hand, and you just take the whole deck, a whole stack of cards into your hand, right? And the third thing you can do is you can recruit a lord, and each lord's got a cost that you have to pay, and you may have to divide the cards that you're paying into various different suits depending on how many bubbles there are, right? And you'll pay the cost and you'll put the lord in front of you, and that will give you either influence and a special action that's either immediate or permanent, right? So they're the 3 actions that you can take, yeah? So you'll pay for the lord cards with ally cards. Each ally card's got a value. You'll discard the cards that you're using to pay for it with into the council spaces, and you can make up any shortfall you want with pearls, their sort of currency. So you can say, pay for an 8 card with a 5 and then make up with 3 pearls, and then you'll put the lord in front of you, and you'll notice that some lords have got keys on them. You can also get keys from fighting monsters, and if you ever have 3 keys, you have to take one of the face-up locations. And what locations do, you'll put them in front of you, you'll slot any lords that you used to unlock the location, and the location will give you a special ability, right? So another thing we've got to mention as well is when you recruit lords, you'll be discarding cards onto the council spaces, but you will also take your lowest numbered ally, place it face up in front of you as an affiliate ally, and then you'll get points for those types of things at the end of the game. So what you keep doing this over and over and over, and eventually you're going to either empty the Lord's deck, which is sort of doesn't happen very often, or somebody will get 7 Lords, so they recruit 7 Lords, yeah, and when that happens, then the game will be over. You'll finish a turn and everyone else will get 1 turn. You add up all your influence points from all your different locations, yeah, from your affiliate allies, your lords, and then whoever's got the most influence is the winner of Abyss. So what do we like about Abyss? So the first thing that we like is that this game goes from 3 basic choices, or 3 phases and 3 actions, into this big massive sprawling web of options. And the fact that something can grow, on paper it looks so simple, yeah, you just either do this or this. When you actually get down to it, it grows. Like we said, it's like expanding foam. So we love games that look simple on paper, but they make your brain hurt through the way that the options work out and the way that they merge together in the game, right? So the second thing we like is the Lord's powers are very, very interesting and diverse, and it might be the case that you might pick up some of the Red Lords, and they're more sort of combat, backstabbing, sort of take that influence, and that the Yellow Lords give you straight victory points, loads of victory points. You know, the Pink Lords, they give you spells and stuff like that, and there's a vast array, and especially if you get the Kraken expansion. We haven't played with the Leviathan of expansion, but if you get the Kraken expansion, that chucks another faction in there, the smugglers and that. And there's all these sorts of really interesting Lords characters that come out in the game, and that's one of the things that really makes the game fresh every time you play it. So another thing that we really enjoy about games like this in general is that you are constantly rewarded for playing this game, for not doing much at all. And every turn you take, you're either going to get rewards, you're either going to get pearls from the other players, or you're going to be recruited, getting ally cards that you want. You're going to be going fighting the monsters, getting rewards that way. You're going to be recruiting lords, or you'll be able to get a location. And the game constantly is giving to you, yeah, no matter what. There's not really many turns go by that are very barren, so the game is constantly rewarding you no matter what you do, and that's excellent. So the next thing that we like, and we're talking about the Kraken expansion, is that the Nebulous pearls really do make for a lot of banter in this game, and we love a bit of bants. You're going to be using the Nebulous, getting them through the Kraken cards that come out in the allied deck, yeah. And when you pay for a lord with a Kraken card, you have to take this dirty currency into your pot, and you can use that if you haven't got any pearls left, but you can only use 1, yeah. And the Krakens are used as a sort of a wild card, yeah. So when you're exploring the depths, when you're paying somebody to take one of the cards off of the Explore the Depths track, you can pay for them in Nebulous pearls, right? And that's a really great thing, because you're constantly watching, if I take the Explore the Depths action, they're going to pay me in Nebulous, and they're worth -1 point in the game, and whoever's got the most of them takes the Kraken, which is -5. So you're constantly watching, and it really does sort of give you a great back and forth across the table. I mean, we've done a playthrough of this, and there's all this sort of good-natured sort of finger pointing and sort of suspicion around the table, and that's one of the good things about this game with the Kraken expansion. So the next thing that we really like is this like a flowchart mechanic. So you start at the top of the board, and what you do at the top of the board affects the next level of the board, the council, and then the council will affect the lords, and then the lords will affect the location. So when you're working your way down, you need to get the ally cards into your hand to pay for the lords, and then the lords will allow you to get ally cards more easily. So you need to go down, but that also allows you to make it easier to go down as well. Actions that you take at the top of the board that are cheap, they allow you to do more expensive stuff, but then that gives you a benefit when you're doing that, yeah. So we really like that sort of flow diagram sort of mechanic thing. So another thing that we really like, we'll stop going on about things we like about this game, because otherwise we'll be here all day, right? But the final thing that we really like about this is that really simple auction mechanism, and it reminds us sort of, it's not as complex as Cyclades, even though that's not complex, but it's just a case of reveal a card, do you want it, yes or no, and you keep going around, and then you get cash for it. So it's like a sort of a mini auction at the beginning of the game, and we really like that. So you never know whether somebody's going to take it or you're going to get money. So it's always like a nice punt at the beginning of the round. So what don't we like about Abyss? So the first thing that we find frustrating about this is that, especially at the beginning of the game, it's very difficult to get pearls into your pot to buy the cards that you need so that you can get that engine flowing. And in our playthrough, I found my mum was complaining about, she generally complains when things don't go right, but she was complaining that she didn't have pearls at the beginning of the game to buy the necessary cards to get that engine moving. But the flip side of that is that at the end of the game there's like an abundance of pearls, and nobody really goes to explore the depth spaces, so it's a bit weird. And yeah, I mean, it's not really anything, not my criticism, it's more my mum's criticism, and I always listen to my mum, right? So leading on from that, it's sort of similar thing, is that the Lord's powers towards the tail end of the game, they become less potent because you're not really focusing on changing the game, like breaking the game for other people, you know. So that card that you may have bought for that sort of game breaking ability isn't really worth much towards the end because everyone's just scrambling for those influence points. Yeah, so you know, you invest all that time and effort getting these Lord's cards, and then when the game reaches that crescendo, that peak, they sort of become a little bit redundant. So we'll talk about something from the Kraken expansion, and that's the loot deck. So the way that works is that if you take a location with the loot deck symbol on it, it will tell you to go through the loot deck and you reveal a card, and you can either take the reward and the influence points, or you can carry on, blah blah blah, and you'll keep doing this and doing this until you either take the reward or you reveal two numbers the same, in which case you'll remove those two same numbers and you'll take everything else. If you do this, you're either going to get a massive boon, right, or you're going to get nothing. Yeah, and for us it's too overpowered. We probably won't play with this again in the future. So if you've got the Kraken expansion, just be wary that the loot deck and the locations associated with it can be sort of very, very unbalanced. Yeah. So another thing is that this game suffers from the same thing as Wingspan. It's lavishly overproduced, and we're not saying it's a bad thing, but really when you come down to it, once you strip away all the gloss, this game could just as well have been just a card game, because you've just got the Allies deck, you've got the Lords deck, and then you've got the tiles, the location tiles, which could have been just cards, and you could have got away with just having just a very simple card game. So you've got all that fluff, yeah, you've got all the pearls and that, which could have been tokens. You've got the bowls and that, which you probably get from like Poundland for 50p, right? So even the board itself is a bit superfluous, right? You don't really need to have the board, but it does add a bit of aesthetics and a bit of an ambience to the game. So same thing as Wingspan, it's just all this fluff thrown in when really at its heart it's just a simple card game. Right, so we'll wrap it up. We're going to say that this game on the box, it says 45 minutes, and it's not 45 minutes. You're going to be spending about an hour and a half at this, yeah, at the maximum end, you know, trying to get through this one. So that's a barefaced lie. It's not 45 minutes, and also some of the rules can be quite fiddly. You know, we found ourselves sort of forgetting to use the affiliate ally rules, and if you're sort of thinking about something else, it's very hard to lose track of who paid what and when, and all these sort of fiddly little rules going on. I'm sure that will go away after a lot more plays, you know. But we did find ourselves making a few rules goofs with this, because there's lots of, even though there's only 3 actions you can take and 3 phases to the game, it looks very simple. It's very deceptively complex in a sense, right? So yeah, that's a bit of a pain in the bum. So to summarise, is Abyss worth playing today? And if you're watching this in the future, like today. So we're going to say yes, we do think it's worth playing. There's not really that much like it. It's a very interesting and even intriguing card game, yeah, and it's got a very, very sort of, we're not talking about the expansion, but it's got a very balanced mix of skill and luck, yeah. So it's definitely improved with the Kraken expansion. Maybe not with the loot deck, but the Kraken expansion adds more Lords, which is a fantastic thing. Adds another faction into the Lords deck. It adds more locations, and it adds those wildcard Kraken cards, and also the Nebulae pearls, yeah. So that can sort of, depending on how it works out through the game, it can sort of skew the game quite radically, or it can come across quite balanced and calm, right? But yeah, the Kraken expansion, we haven't played with the Leviathan expansion, but the Kraken expansion, if you can get it, it's definitely worth chucking it in. So Abyss, we're going to give this one 4 stars out of 5. It's an excellent game. There's not really anything quite like it. I was trying to think about something that's a little bit like this. The first thing that sprung to mind is Wingspan. You know, it's that sort of general quite easy card game that is surrounded by loads of plastic and cardboard fluff, you know. So yeah, that's Abyss. That's by Bruno Cathala and the other French bloke. So like we said, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to our channel for more board game stuff, and leave a comment down below if you get 2 seconds to do that, and we'll see you next time.